good day, folks. Welcome, everybody, to another episode live from Jerusalem to our wonderful friends in Europe and beyond. We actually have a full Zoom room today. We got some wonderful people I haven't had here before. Of course, we've got our usual suspects like Timothy in Nova Scotia, Canada, Daniel down in Bogota, Colombia. We got Tony down in Arizona. We've got my friend Michael Clark here all the way from Georgia, which is great. And, of course, we're joined by Terry Hayes, Pesach Sherbo in Sfat, Israel, and many, many, many more. But, of course, this is to listen to a Genesis session with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg out of Jerusalem, and he's been teaching us so much, especially from the Hebrew language, and I am always overjoyed to have time with Rabbi Goldberg because it means a lot to me personally, but the Torah jumps off the pages, and so without any further ado, Rabbi Goldberg, you got the stage, sir. I'm going to be quiet.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening from Jerusalem. Good to see you all. We have also new people here from South Africa. Jacob, raise up your hand so everybody will know. We have also people from South Africa today. Good to see you from all over the world. And good evening from Jerusalem. We are still with the coronavirus, even though we have a very big blessing in Israel because thank God it didn't caught us very hard. I will say it like that. And I'm blessing all of us, all of you, and all of us, that it will finish fast, this thing. I want to go inside today to continue on. We are learning now the premises of the most important things of the most important foundations, how to learn the Bible and what exactly we are supposed to do. I'm going to repeat part of a lesson that we did already, something like a year ago, something like that. But it's always also a joy to repeat some things backwards, then people adjusting it in a much deeper way. And for those that it's first time, it's good. And I also prepared.
But I can't get the.
I also prepared a very unique surprise at the end of this lesson. So hopefully all of you will be able to take part of it. And
I can't get
excellent.
on here.
So I'm going to share, please. Who is
If we could get everybody to mute their mics while Rabbi Goldberg's sharing the class, appreciated. Just sometimes you get background noise, and it happens. There you go, Rabbi. You got it.
Okay. So let's share the screen, and let's speak a bit about the secret of the Shabbat. Okay, here it is, the secret of the Shabbat. Everybody can see the screen. Everything is okay. It's good enough. It's good. It's big enough. I can do it even bigger. The secret of the Shabbat. It's very important because I'm going to go here one stage even deeper than what we learned earlier. One of the things that we've learned when we spoke about the beginning of the Bible, I want to remind us all that the first 3 chapters where we're speaking about the creation of the world in the chapter number 1, and then when Adam and Eve were in the Eden, those 3 chapters, they are more or less something very in a different world. Okay, usually I like to say that when someone is dying, God forbidden, so we're saying to the grandchildren, he went to heaven. So it's a different world than here. And especially the first chapter of the Bible that is teaching how God created this world. And we all know that we didn't have any men in this world when God created this world. So we don't really know what happened there. And what is being expressed in the Bible is something a bit different. And it's supposed to teach us a few things, how to behave. This is the main thing, where God is saying to us, listen and learn the moral explanation of what's happening. So the first chapter, in each day, we have 4 stages. Each day, as we know, we have day number 1, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, and then we're coming on to the 7th day. And we have in each day, we have 4 stages. Stage number 1 is the planning, the decision of God. Stage number 2 is the implementation of the plan. Okay, what happened in reality, the actual implementation. And then we have the third stage of the judgment and the last stage of the conclusion. Let's go, for example, on the second day, on the first day. We can say, and God said, let there be a light. This is what he is planning. He is planning that there will be a light. And then in the reality, and there was a light. And then God gave some sort of a judgment, and God saw that the light, it was good. Good or bad is a judgment. And the conclusion, and it was evening and it was morning, one day. So we see 4 stages, very simple stages, in the first day. Okay? When we're going on to the second day, we are lacking something. Something is missing from those 4 stages. The planning is very simple. God is saying, let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, and let it be separation between water and water. Very good. This is, I will say, the planning. And then God did something. He did this expanse and separation, and he did separate it between those water of the upper and the lower level, and we don't have any judgment. We do have a conclusion. The conclusion is that there was the second day. This was the conclusion. But we are losing the judgment. The judgment, we don't have any judgment in the second day. Now, why is that? For that, we need to read, as we can see, I did it here, very simple, that you will see, we will all see the 4 stages. This is the 4th one. Why we don't have the judgment? And here I will ask Dan to read in a moment what Rashi is explaining to us. Please, Dan, read in the right side of the
Rashi. Now, why does it not say that it was good on the second day? Because the work involving the water was not completed until the third day, although he commenced it on the second day, and an unfinished thing is not in its fullness and its goodness. And on the third day, when he completed the work involving the water, and he commenced and completed another work, he repeated therein that it was good twice. Once for the completion of the work on the second day, and once for the completion of the work that third day in Genesis Rabbah 4:6.
Okay, so the judgment, we're getting the judgment on the third day. And we're getting twice the judgment on the third day because he's finishing the work, the job of the second day, and he's also finishing the job of the third day. So he's giving twice a judgment that it is good. This is some sort of a judgment. It's good or it's bad. But this is, I think, another deeper understanding of that. And this is when we understand that the second day is the day of separation. And this is also why it's being called in the first day, it's not being called, the first day, it's being called one day. Because the first day is unity, the unity of God. And it's very unique what's happening in the first day, where God is saying some sort of a planning, and it's becoming to reality exactly what he planted. He asked for light, and there was a light. On the second day already, we're speaking about a separation. Okay, we're losing the unity. And therefore, you cannot say good when you're starting to do separation. The third day already is starting to combine back things that happened in the second day. But the most important point that we need to understand now, so this was by side, by the way, we explained to you something that happened in the second day. But the most important thing is that we need to remember, on each day, we have the planning, what God decided to do. Then we have the implementation of the plan, okay, the actual thing, a judgment, some sort of confirmation that God is satisfied with what he sees, and conclusion of the day. Until here, everything I think is clear. And now we can go on. And I'm asking all of you to read those sentences in yourself. And maybe Dan, you can read it, the sentences of the seventh day. And please tell me, what are we lacking in the seventh day? Please, Dan, read the seventh day.
Now the heavens and the earth were completed in all their host, and God completed on the seventh day his work that he did, and he abstained on the seventh day from all his work that he did. And God blessed the seventh day, and he hallowed it, for thereon he abstained from all his work that God created to do.
What exactly are we missing? What do we have? Let's go with this. What do we have? What is the planning of the seventh day? You can open the microphone and say to me, what is the planning of the seventh day? The seventh day. Who have an answer?
Is it rest?
Do you see the word rest inside the script here? I don't see the word rest.
I don't see any planning actually in this.
Ah, good to see you. Wow.
And I'm sorry I joined late. We had
No,
a
it's
little
okay.
bit
It's okay.
accident.
How do,
Have
I
people
join,
also from you.
how do I join into this?
Sorry?
Could you hear?
Just speak, Mama Jean.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, and we got you on screen. You're being broadcast to the world.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what's the question? What did God ordain for the seventh day?
What is the planning? What God planted? What was his decision to do in the seventh day?
Rest.
Where is this being written down?
Blessed the seventh day.
Who said? Blessed the seventh day. Wow, good. Look. And God blessed the seventh day. Okay, so this is the first thing that he did. What is the second thing?
Hallowed.
Hallowed. Exactly. Those are the two things that God decided that's supposed to be in the seventh day. Now, do we see that after he planted this, after he decided that this is what's supposed to be in the seventh day, do we see that he is managing to do this in life? No, we don't. Do we have any judgment? No. Do we have any conclusion of the day? Also, we don't have. So apparently, I know that it's mind-blowing what I'm going to say now. Apparently, we are still on the seventh day of creation. I know. Usually people don't look on this way. Maybe we are still in the seventh day of creation. Because every day God closed the day, right? The only day that God didn't close the day, I'm going back to the beginning, okay? We said that we have 4 stages: the planning, the actual implementation, the reality, the judgment, and the conclusion. We're looking on the seventh day, and we see that there is only some sort of a planning of God. God is planning something. He's planning that this seventh day will become blessed and hallowed. And there is no actual thing, and there is no judgment, and there is no conclusion. And the conclusion is the most, I will say, highest level of screaming, yelling in the text. Something there is missing. Every day is closing except for the seventh day. You know, I reminded myself this lesson because if I will jump for a moment, down, I will show you, what we read this parsha, this week parsha, okay? This week parsha starts with this verse. And it was on the 8th day that Moses summoned Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. And God basically showed his appearance in the tabernacle. This is how you call it, right? In the tabernacle, in the desert. Okay? And in those days, it was like the day, as it says in Rashi, it was like the day of the creation. Here we find the 8th day. And we know that this tabernacle, that we know that this temple was a holy place. But until here, we never came to the 8th day. Here it's only some sort of a hint of the 8th day. So let's go back. I'm going back because we'll do it slowly and carefully, so it will be clear to everybody what we're going to do, because we're going to go very deep to this explanation of what's happening. So we came to a conclusion. And if someone have question or disagree, please, this is the time, okay? That we are still on the seventh day of creation. This is what I said, if you remember, 3 weeks ago, that we need to understand how the Hebrew sages of Israel look on history. They look on the history as it's like 3 blocks of 2,000 years, each block. The first block is the time from Adam and Eve until the age of Abraham. Abraham was born in this world. It was 1948 from the year of the creation. So the first 2,000 years were the 2,000 years of Adam and Eve that lived for 950 years. And then also Noah and his sons, Noah lived also 950 years. And then Abraham is coming. And until this time, we call this time the day of unclear time. It's basically the time before the Torah was given to the world, before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob came to this world. And it's the time that we tried very much, the humanity in this world tried very much to bring some sort of a decent level of morality. Then we have 2,000 years of that we have the Torah, that we have the Bible in the world. It starts with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and it's the highlight is coming when Moses is also taking out the Hebrew nation from Egypt and giving us the Bible, the Torah from heaven. And the Hebrew nation is coming to the Israel state, where we have the prophecy for almost 2,000 years. And then after those 2,000 years, we have the 2,000 years of exile. And now we are at the end of the days. Another something like 200, 300 years, we are finishing the seventh day. And the question that we need to ask ourselves, there are 3 questions that we need to ask ourselves. What is the mission of the seventh day? Who is supposed to do this mission? And the third question is, what is the creator role on this day? Those are the 3 questions that we need to ask ourselves, especially when we're saying, sorry?
Yeah. They're very big questions.
Okay. And we will start, first of all, I think it's very simple. So we can speak about the creator role in this time, okay? The creator role in this time is very simple. He is saying it, he is stating it. God completed the 7th day. On the 7th day, his work that he did. And he abstained on the 7th day from all his work he did. Now look please on this word. This word abstained is much, I will say, it's not only that he took a rest. Abstain is also reminding us that he is watching in behind the curtains what's happening. He's a bit watching what's happening. He's, like I will say, the most easiest way to understand that is when the mother is looking on her young child who is trying to take his first steps. So the mother is on the side. She's trying not to interfere because it's okay if he will fall down once or twice and he will manage to recover. On the other side, she is not going too far. So if he will fall down, she will help him. And the same thing, God is not only resting, he is a bit in the abstain situation. He is a bit on the side looking what's happening here. He won't let things to go down. If there isn't any, I will say, other possibility, he will bring the flood. He will wipe up all of the bad people in the area, and he will leave on only one family that the world will recover again. And when it won't help enough, so we will do this again in the other places in the history. If the Egyptians are going to wipe up the Hebrew nation that is supposed to bring to the world the morality, so God will interfere. He will come and he will give 10 very hard snacks to the Egyptians, because God is not vanishing That's it. He's abstaining. He's aside. And this is what he said. Therefore, he abstained from all his work that God created. He stopped creating anything in this world. Till now, he did miracles. He said, let there be a light. Puff, there's a light. I want that there will be also plants. Puff, there are plants. Those are miracles. No one was here in those times of the miracles. God was here. And he stopped all the miracles, except for the times that he needs to interfere. Except for that, he is sitting aside. Okay? This is the role of the creator, if I will say it like that. And when we're looking at this, so we can start to say the words from Isaiah, the sentence from Isaiah, lift up your eyes and high and see. Who created those? When God created everything, it was a world without a man. And it was the time what considered different. You know, people are saying, and Dan is one of the experts to explain how long it was until the time that that we had today. But the time was considered different because there wasn't any men in the area to explain things. And consistently, it was changing state. It was creating states. Okay, and the goal of those 6 days was to build a place for the human to dwelling in it, that it will be living here in a good way. On the Saturday night, on the Saturday day, not only night, of God, and this is the difference. This is why also we're saying very much the Saturday is very important. It's a world with a nature law. The laws of nature, we can take the coronavirus as an example. It doesn't ask when the corona is catching someone, God forbidden, it doesn't ask the corona if this man is righteoushood or is a bad man or a good man. The corona is a corona, that's it. So it's world of nature, of natural laws. And it is impossible to discover the creator. It's all of the main philosophers, they never saw the creator in this world. They said that always this world was like that. Okay? The laws of nature are circular, like the circle of life. We all know that. Okay? And it is very deterministic laws. It's not, doesn't have any anything human inside. I'll say it like that. Okay?
There's no mercy.
No mercy at all.
Yeah.
And for the first 6 days, we can say who. Who, you see this word here, up here, I can put this also in red, okay? Who created this world? It's something very personal. But in the Saturday time, God is in an impersonal situation. What? We're speaking about all the nature. When we're inquiring about the nature, we're speaking about the what. What is the measurement of this thing? Now, when we are continuing on to understand this thing, when we know that there is the 6th day of the personal being of God who created everything, who created this world, and the impersonal side of the 7th day, where are those two opposing dimensions hiding together? Who knows? Who knows the answer? The answer is very simple. You will say to yourself, come on, it's very simple. Okay? In every human being. We can see this today. In the soul side, in the freedom side, in the consciousness side, when you're speaking with someone and you're saying to him, Dan, Mama Jean, Peter, I'm speaking with someone, this is a personal side. This is a personal being. I'm speaking with someone. And when I'm speaking about the body, go to the hospitals and you will see it for yourself. This is the what side. Let's take the brain, for example. Okay, you can measure the brain on the what side. It is this and this size and this weight, but you can also measure the brain with the quality that it brings to inside. Okay, so this is those two things in the human being. The human being is the only person that is combining the 7th day and the 6 days together. You with me till now? It's very simple. The physical connection between the world and man is the food that he is eating. Every food that we are eating, I must say something. I will say this and then I will explain this with an example. Every food that we are putting inside, we are taking something from the world that is the nature, and we're putting it, it's becoming part of a human, something that with a conscience, okay? And this is also why we see that the most important thing that God is saying to man when he is going out from Eden, okay? So he says to him, you will eat bread until you return to the ground. And people see this only as a curse, but it's not only a curse. This is the way that we are managing to reconnect all of this world and bringing it up to the level of consciousness of something, not only somehow or it's something with a personal situation, because this is how we eat. I must say that last week I got a message from someone that is Christian. You know that I'm also dealing with Christian, God forbid, they're still in the wrong situation. Don't tell this to anyone, it's only between us. And he tried to show me that Abraham gave food to people. And also in the beginning of the New Testament, it starts with this, that it's giving food for people. So look, we are the same. And I tried to explain to him that when we are speaking about food, we're speaking about something else. We're speaking about two different things. Abraham gave food, and we spoke about this a few times along this year. Abraham, when he gave food, he tried to explain, he tried to show that we are, our source of life is something that is coming from outside of us. And this is the beginning of the experience to understand that you need to rely on God, that is the source outside of you. And the second thing, when we're speaking about food, we're speaking about that we are taking parts of the nature and lifting it up from what we said before, from a place that it's only a what to something that it's becoming a who. We are moving it up one level. And this is where we're starting to understand where God, okay, the food is world, and that that has become a man, okay, through this thing of the food. And this is where God said to himself in the 7th day, I will go 2 steps aside. I will sit down from the side and I will look exactly if you are managing to bring the world to the moral level, to the moral role, okay? The recognition of myself as a created person. We know that we have free will, and it's very important, this free will, that I can decide that I don't believe in God. It's your decision to decide you believe in God or not. And this recognition, if I believe in God, and this is God that created this world because he decided to create this world. So therefore, I'm also obligated to moral role here in this thing, to do good things also, to do good deeds like he did to me. Now, this is my own decision. Nobody can force me on this recognition. Nobody can decide for me that this is what I need to believe or this is what I need to feel. I think I said it more than once. For more than 30 years, I was dealing with teenagers, and more than, a lot of times those teenagers came to me, or some of them, and all sorts of times, I don't believe in God anymore. Now I'm a rabbi, and I was head of the yeshiva, the principal of the school. And I said to him, that's okay. At least God believes in you, and he's giving you a soul every morning. So this is important. So, and they were, very confused. How can I speak like that? I said to him, it will take you time. It's your decision. If you prefer not to believe in God, it's okay. You can live like that all of your life. Nobody will stop you. So the recognition of myself as created and to fulfill a moral role in this world, this is something that nobody can decide for me. And this is the seventh day. And this is what's happening in the seventh day. Because God, when he managed to disappear, to be behind the curtains, that we won't see him, this is where he is giving us the opportunity to do those things. Think about the situation where every morning we would see God speaking with us. We won't have any free choice to decide not to believe in God. This is why God, in this seventh day, is going behind the scenes, behind the curtains. And who is staying here? Just a moment, I will give you a moment to speak, to ask. Who is staying without any, I will say, proofs that God is here? The man, okay? And the word olam, the word world, okay? World is the olam, is from the same word of he'elem. He'elem is disappearing. The creator is behind the nature. It's the same word in Hebrew. It's very similar word. It's not the same word, it's a very similar word. The word olam, the word world, is basically that God is hiding himself in behind the nature, in behind the laws of nature. And this is the seventh day. So in the first 6 days, the role of God was to create everything and to do a lot of miracles that this thing will happen. And in the seventh day, God is behind the nature, behind the world of nature. So we will have the free choice to decide what to do with our lives. Dan, you wanted to ask something.
Well, it really comes down to, say, the Olam Haba. At the end, will not Hashem be, the knowledge of Hashem be understood to that point where that concealment is lifted? And that has a major effect on the whole notion of free will in the Olam Haba. I mean, I've tried to understand it. When you think of the greatness of a king, if the king was to ask a servant, I want you to go do this, would somebody say, I have free will, let me think about it? Not before the King of Kings, not before Hashem, Almighty God. If Hashem says, hey, I want you to do it, you know that he's going to provide everything you need to get done what he's asked you to get done. Make steps towards it. So I think that there's a complete higher degree of function, but the notion of free will is not so free because of the awareness of the king and what he requests or requires of us.
Yeah, you're very right, okay, when you have this recognition of God. But God here, he wanted very much to have someone that won't behave like a robot. This is why he really gave free will. And we know that there are a lot of people who are deciding not to live in the proper recognition, I will say it like that, because some of them are also very in a very moral behavior. Okay, I won't say that everybody who don't believe in God is not in a moral behavior, who don't know how to behave morally. I'm not saying that everybody who don't believe in God are all corrupted. I will never say anything like that, because we know that there are people who don't believe in God and they are still behaving very nice. It is true also on the other side that when you don't believe in God at all, and you think that you behave moral, like we saw in Europe, in Germany, 80 years ago, it could bring to a very moral behavior on one side and a very immoral behavior on the other side. But this is because they lost God on the way, okay? Like Nietzsche said, I saw that I was in the funeral of God. God died. The joke, this is what he said, by the way, Nietzsche. The joke is saying that when he died, some sort of a note came out from heaven, and it was on the note it was written down, Nietzsche died, signed God. He gave him back. But okay. Again, we need to acknowledge there are people who are behaving moral even though they don't believe in God. But at the end of the day, so at the bottom line, God is giving really free choice, a that you can decide that you don't believe that God exists, and He is hiding very good. Now, if you open your eyes and you see things that happened in this world, especially in the last 100 years, where the Hebrew nation did the redemption back, so you can't, close your eyes and say everything is the same. No, it's not the same. You see that something here is happening, but again, for this you need to have the right eyes to look what's happening. With your permission, I want to continue on, because it's very important for me to
Of course, Rabbi.
have also some new things. Okay, so the most I will say in a nutshell, I will say that if we ask the second question, okay, what is the mission of the seventh day? The mission is in two things. Okay, the thing of the blessing and the hallowed, as like Mama Jean said. Okay, to be blessed and to hallowed. Those two things, I will explain them in a nutshell. Really, I won't go inside to this. If you want, you can seek inside. I didn't took them out yet. In previous lessons, we explained them. The blessing is basically Mission Impossible. The issue of the blessing. The blessing is when we meet the first time the word blessing in the Bible is when God is saying to Adam and Eve, be blessed, okay, be fruitful and multiply. And those are two things. The multiply is one thing and the fruitful is another thing. Multiply is more as the same, and fruitful is something new that is giving us. And this is basically the thing of blessing, okay, where also we see the same thing. I won't go inside to this too much now, okay? The fruitful and multiply is the blessing of God. And it's in human, it's in animals, everywhere, okay? But the difference is when you see it also, the same wording in the animals and in the human, but with the human, there's something different, because God is speaking with human. God is speaking with men. Okay, God said to them, we won't find that God spoke with the animals. God never spoke with anything else except that He spoke with men, because men have the consciousness, men have the ability, okay, to understand this fruitful and multiply. And this fruitful is also connected to the word of the taste. Now, the taste is something that it says like that, okay, in Psalms, taste and see that God is good. It's something very personal. I can't explain my taste to anybody else. This is my taste, okay? But this is something that is the blessing. The blessing is with the taste of things. When you're eating something, you have the blessing of the fruitful, not only the multiply, but also the fruitful. And this is a blessing of the nature. And this is what you said, the ability of morality and the ability to experience the blessing. You taste something and you're saying, this is good. This is something I want to give to others also, that they will have the same taste. It's also with the food, but it's also with the behavior. So this is the issue of blessing. And the second thing is the connected, or the issue of the hallowed, the sacred. And we explain this a bit in few words. We see that God is saying to the congregation of Israel that they're supposed to be holy. We're speaking about two main dimensions that they are supposed to behave in the holier way. And those two dimensions are the sexual immorality, okay, from sin, and also what to eat. And I think we explained this a few times, that whatever you're taking inside with your body, and also whether it's connected to food or to the sexual side, what you're taking inside and what you holding in the right way, this is what the Bible is calling sacred, calling holy, and we also see it in other places. And those are the two things, okay, that are related to the holiest. And we're going back to the what we said before, that now we're starting to understand that God didn't only curse Adam when He took him out from Eden. He asked him something else. He said to him, eat food, eat bread, because this is the way of the holiest way. And now, if I will go back and we will read for a moment what exactly is happening in the seventh day, we will see that it is written down there in a very interesting way. Let me go back a bit more. It says here that God stopped all of his work, okay? He abstained from all his work that God created. And he's giving us two more words to do. Who is supposed to do now? And whose shoulders is that he's supposed to do? God created all of this world. And he left something small to the human being to do. To the human, to Adam and Eve, to all of those generations. To do this holiness and to do this hallowed. Those two things that God left to the human. And this is what we asked here before, okay? Not only what is the mission of the seventh day, who is supposed to do this mission? Who is supposed to do this mission? Man is supposed to do this mission, okay? And this is how also when God is saying, okay, that God created, and from now on, man is to do the blessed and the hallowed. Those two things man is supposed to do. And God is not, I told you already more than once from the beginning, God is not trying to put hard things that men, that Adam and Eve, that us as humanity won't manage. God is giving us all the time all the possibilities to manage. And this is what he's saying to us. Do things that you will manage and I will help you. And if you didn't manage in Eden, okay, so now you're going out. So do this for the food. Do this for the sexual immorality. Okay, do those things. This is your time to do what you need to do. Now, until here, if there is any questions, if not, we're going to go one step deeper. Okay, I can say here while we're speaking about Shabbat. Okay, for a moment, please Dan read Rashi for that.
Rashi said, and blessed and hallowed. He blessed it with manna, for on the day, all the days of the week, it descended for them in the amount of an omer per person, whereas on the sixth day, each one received a double portion, and he hallowed it with manna, that it did not descend at all on the Sabbath. This verse is written with reference to the future from Genesis Rabbah 11:2.
Okay, when we're speaking about the word blessing and hallowed, we can see an example and the manna for the 40 years that the Hebrew nation ate manna. 6 days they had manna, and the seventh day they didn't have it. And the blessing was that each day they had, and the main blessing was, the fruitful side was on Friday that they had twice, also for Shabbat. And the hallowed was that on Sabbath, on the seventh day, it didn't went down. We didn't have any manna. And again, we're speaking about the food, okay? And look, everything here is in the same circle and the same understanding. Now, the question is, what are the exact, I will say, what is the exact behavior? Okay, we spoke here about food, we spoke here about sexual morality, but what is the exact behavior that God is asking from men to do? Now we'll say a few words without any script, okay? And if you have any questions, so don't hesitate, stop me. And I'm relating back to things that I've learned with Dan when we learned the Kuzari. We did it more than a year ago, Dan, already. Yes, we learned the Kuzari. Kuzari is a very important book of one of our sages 800 years ago. And he's saying something amazing. He's saying that people can ask a lot of questions. What exactly do I need to do? What do I need to do? Okay. What is my role? What do I need to do? How do I need to behave? And people can also give answers. For example, Plato asked questions, but he spoke with himself. He gave answers. And after that, Aristotle, his student, gave other answers. And then we continue on a long history. Everybody's giving answers. So with whom they're speaking? If you want to know what God wants from you, you need to ask God. Okay, you don't need to ask anybody else. Ask God, but He's not answering. It's true, He's not answering. In the last 24 centuries, He's not answering us. But here we came to the sages of Israel, where God did spoke with He spoke with the prophets of Israel, and the sages of Israel are preserving it along history. And here I want to share with you. I will stop. No. I will stop this share. I want to share with you a unique thing that I got permission for the next coming 2 weeks because of the corona, because of everything. I'm going to give you the link. I'm going to say a few words and I'm going to give you the link. And the only thing I want to ask from all of you, that in the next coming 2 weeks, when you're going inside and looking inside to what's happening there, that you also give me feedback. Okay, you can give it through the email or through the other ways you will see it. Before I'm going to share with you the Brit Shalom that Rabbi Shelke reorganized and brought together in the last 6 years. But before I'm going to show this Brit Shalom and to give you the link, so you will be able to see this Brit Shalom also inside. And I'm very honored also to have tonight with us. I'm sorry that I'm not exactly with your name. No, we can't hear you. Let me unmute you. Okay. No. Again, your name again. Exact your name.
Who are you talking to?
Do you mean me?
Yeah.
My name is Viteslav Cibulka.
Viteslav. Okay, Viteslav from
Viteslav
the Czech Republic, who is also translating this to the Czech language. And we have already in Russian, we have already in French, we have it already in English. I'm going to share this with you. But before I'm going to do this, I want to say that unfortunately, we have a lot of people who are taking upon themselves to say that they are speaking on behalf of the sages of Israel. Therefore, I want to share with you for a moment. I need to open this screen. For a moment, let me open the screen. Just a moment. Let me go out from there. I want to share with you okay, now you see in behind this, here it is. Okay. Here is the Brit Shalom, full text, only text, because we are going to have also another do you see the screen? All of you see can you see the screen? Mm-hmm. Yes. This is Brit Shalom. Yes. I will give you also the link, okay, for this. And Chacham, it's also, we did another proofreading twice, okay? So it's a bit slightly different. And I'm starting with acknowledgement from the chief rabbis of Israel. Now, why this is important for me? I want to show you, I'm going to read for you now in Hebrew. As you can see here, you see the state of Israel, Rabbi David Lau. He is the Ashkenazi Rabbi of Israel. And you can see here, Rabbi Uri Sherki. I will explain in a moment what is written down here. And then you have also, you can see the signature of Rabbi David Lau. And then you have the second Rabbi. Now, the truth is that we have another 8 recognition of rabbis, very important rabbis in Israel, and also from the United States, and also from Europe. But the most important one is to show that what we are teaching, what we are doing here, okay, I'm also as a rabbi, and we are related with the chief rabbinate of Israel. It's not that someone here decided to do all sorts of imaginations, all sorts of ideas, all sorts of things. We are on the main stream, I'll say, that is related with Israel. And I'm going to read in Hebrew and to explain in English what is happening, what is saying here. And at the end here, by the way, I'm also attaching here the blessing from the Prime Minister of Israel, okay, that you will see that you will have the opportunity. But again, it's in Hebrew. I didn't translate it yet. As you can see here, okay? Rosh Hashanah Prime Minister, that he also gave us to the head of the Brit Olam. You can see here the word Brit Olam, Bnei Noach, and everything else, Benjamin Netanyahu. But I want to explain, first of all, the main rabbis and what they're saying there, that it will be understandable that what Rabbi Sharkey did here, it's not something that he did, from his imagination. It's part of the roots of the Hebrew tradition that is explaining and opening and expanding exactly a lot of details. Now, I will say up front that there are also some, from time to time, ideas inside the sages. Some are saying this way, some are saying that way, and we are not hiding it, okay? From time to time, we're also bringing, those are saying this thing, and the others are saying the other thing. We do go on this way, on this path, and the others are going to another path. And this is where it's, so let me please read for a moment, because you can see it's a,
In Hebrew.
just a moment. Okay. No, this is an old one. I will also bring the new one. We have also a new one. This is an old one from 2014, but it's okay. And they will also put up in the next coming 2 days the new one that we got a month ago. So it's telling Rabbi Lau, who is the chief rabbi of Israel, it's the chief rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Lau, president of the Chief Rabbinical Council, and he's writing to Rabbi Uri Sherki from the Brit Olam. This is us. This is what we're doing, Brit Olam community, the Noah Hardball Center. And he is saying that he was very happy to hear about all of the activities, very important activities of what we're doing, that is working for bringing more and more knowledge to the Umot HaOlam, to the nations, and bring them to believe in the right God. And also he's quoting the Maimonides, that everyone who is accepting upon himself to do those 7 laws, and we're explaining very in an exactly way how you can accept upon yourself with yourself, how can you accept upon yourself with others, in front of 3 people. And then he is part of the righteousness of the natures, and he's also getting connected with the Hebrew nation. And again, those 7 laws is the foundation, how we can bring this humanity to the best place. And we see that the world needs this, these words to the world. And he's quoting at the end a verse from the Shaya, that a lot of people, a lot of nations will go to the Hebrew nation and go to the holy mountain, and will say that the Torah is coming out from Jerusalem. Okay? And I'm blessing you, and it's very good that you're doing this thing for the Hebrew nation, or for the world, not only for the Hebrew nation. It says for Berachavei Olam, for the world, and he's signing up. And then we have Rabbi Yitzhak Yosef, okay? The Rishon LeZion, the other side, and you can see here, it's only in the Hebrew, but it was something like 4 months ago, Aleph Cheshvan. It was in the end of November. And he's also bringing here that the Brit Shalom, God, that he saw all the Brit Shalom, and he's saying that, saying a lot of prizes words about this thing, and also Rabbi Uri Amos Sharki, that this is Rabbi Sharki who did it, and he's saying that he's a very great man, that he did everything in a very good wording. I'm saying in Hebrew, okay, he saw it in Hebrew, but we translated it also to the English, and that again, he's blessing us and blessing Rabbi Sharki that we will manage, and everything will go in the right way, so we'll have a lot of years to spread those words along the world. Now, why I'm saying this? Because we know today that there are a lot of ideas that are running around, and it's very important to know, to be related, to be connected to the source, where God said what exactly he is asking, what exactly his, I will say, ideas, what he wants from us to do. And this is where we're giving it in a very, very pleasant way. Okay, as Dan said, I think that Dan also did a very amazing lesson about this thing, and he said more than once that more than once he mentioned that it's not stricted. You need to do this, this, and this. Oh, that's it. No, it's very open from one side, but it's very reasonable from the other side, and it's very guiding the exact thing, and also giving in behind the scenes a lot of ideas. Here, I'm putting it in front of all of you. I have the permission. I'm going to put now on the chat the connection, okay, where exactly you can find it. And the only thing I'm asking, I have permission for 2 weeks to give it, spread it out. People can look at this. And the only thing I'm asking is that give me notes, give me questions, give me, I don't know what, you can, now for 2 weeks, you can go inside and to see exactly what's happening here. Let me go back.
So free access for 2 weeks, Rabbi?
Free access for 2 weeks, full access here. You can have it. You will see there's a, okay, not blessing, just a moment. Here it is. Let me go back. Yes, I'm giving free access for 2 weeks, and I'm here it is. It is mainly for, I'm closing the share, and I'm going back to there, the chat. You see the chat? Okay, I'm typing for everyone.
Rabbi, would you like me to share that on Facebook and YouTube?
No. That's enough. Those who are with us in this room, okay. Those who are not with us in this room, they can ask me permission. You know what? I'm giving it here for those who are in this room that came tonight to be with us. You can find there also Jacob Katz, okay? You can find there also a lot of things. Look inside. There are also some connections outside to others. You will manage to see, you can ask me questions, you can give me notes, you can speak. Again, we're going to give, in the next coming 2 or 3, 4 weeks, hopefully, we're going to have, on one side, it will be also printed. So those who would like to get it printed, they will manage to print it through Amazon or something like that. I'm not sure yet. This is one thing. There will be also, I will say, an internet version like you have now, but it will be a bit more with full, a bit more nicer than what you have now. And there will be also a full, much bigger course that will give a lot of more explanations in behind the scenes of this Brit Shalom, with much more explanations of what's happening here. And we'll have also a lot of discussions with the public, we'll say it like that. So there will be those three versions. But now I have a permission for those 2 weeks to spread it to the people who are in with us, so they will manage to see. And again, if you have questions, if you have anything to ask, to discuss, I don't know what, so not a problem. Not now. No, you can say, now we can ask everything about the things that we spoke about. I will conclude for a moment what we spoke about today. We saw that the first 7th day, that in the first 6 days we didn't have any men here. God is teaching us some sort of I will say, understanding how he acted in this world. In the first 6 days, he did a lot of miracles and he prepared this world so men will be here. In the 7th day, suddenly we find that he is not concluding the day, but he is going behind the scenes. And he is watching in behind the scenes, and he is helping us whenever we are not managing to do what we were supposed to do. And he is expecting us to finish, to finalize the last part that he didn't do it. And this is where we spoke about, we started to understand that men, by eating bread, is not a curse, but it's also some sort of a blessing to the world that is managing to bring the world from the unconscious side to become humanity to the conscious side. This is where the blessing is coming we can see the blessing, we can see the taste of the blessing, we can bless the tasting. And then we said, so what is exactly God is asking us to do, what exactly God is expecting from us? We can see this in the first time that God is speaking with Adam and Eve. Straight after he created them, he's blessing them. And in chapter number 2, he's also saying to them, eat from this and don't eat from that. Maybe we'll learn this also next time about what exactly he's speaking with them. But God is giving orders what to do. And he all the time spoke with the Hebrew sages, with the Hebrew prophets. I would like to go to another. I want to conclude, okay, with a story that is related to the also to the Hebrew sages, and then you will have the time for asking questions. We have a very interesting in the oral Bible. We have the Mishnayot, what we call, and one of them is what we call Pirkei Avot. Dan, you know Pirkei Avot, okay? You are doing
Yes,
also
I got a good
about Pirkei
class
Avot.
going Saturdays.
I know that. I'm very appreciable for that. Now, this Pirkei Avot is basically a morality thing. And it starts that Moses got the Torah from God, from Sinai, and he gave it to Joshua, and Joshua gave it to the elders, and the elders gave it to the prophets, and the prophets gave it to the 120 sages that when the prophecy stopped. And then we had the last one from those sages, Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik. And then we have five couples. And this is how the oral Bible that we have got expanded and very deep inside, very profound way of behavior and a lot of details. Now, the third, I will say, just a moment. The second, not the second, just the fourth couple. The fourth couple were two people that we're not sure yet, or there are two ways how to understand that, but most probably they were not from the main, I will say, Jewish hardcore, okay? Maybe the fathers, maybe they themselves, they did conversion and they became Jewish, okay? But they were the most highest level of wisdom and sages in those days, in their generation, okay? One of them was called Shmaya, and the other one was called Avtalion. Those two, now, and it's very important to, first of all, to learn Shmaya, his first word was to say that you need to love the work that you're doing. And he's learning it because God, when he took out Adam from Eden, he said to him, now go and work the field. So it's very important. This is very important to understand that you need to work. But more than that, there's a story that it's saying that there was one very, very holy day that the high priest of the Hebrew nation went out from the temple at the end of this day, and a lot of people joined him, and suddenly they saw those two, Shmaya and Avtalion. As we said, they were not really Jewish, or they did conversion for Judaism, okay? They were not from the beginning. When all of the people around saw Shmaya and Avtalion, they left this high priest, and they went to those two. So the high priest that we all know, the high priest can be only from the descendants of Aaron, of the pure descendants of the Hebrew nation. I can't be also high priest. I am not a priest. That's it. Okay, maybe I can be a rabbi, but that's it. I'm not a Kohen. So he said to them, okay, but you're only secondary. You're not really Jewish people, really Jewish. And they answered him, what you did now is just the opposite of your forefather Aaron, who did the best from himself to bring peace for everybody. And you now said things that are upsetting us, and you are not allowed to say those things from the Bible. It's against the morality of behavior, and it's against the verses that are very clear. And we are trying to behave, even though we are not, we converted and we came to become a Jewish, but we are trying to behave like your forefathers and to bring peace to a lot of people. And the most important thing that they taught us, that it doesn't matter, listen good, if you are Jewish, if you're conversions, if you're converted to Jewish, if you're still not Jewish but you're righteous, the most important thing is how are you behaving. You could be a very pure from the Jewish nation, the most pure person from the Jewish nation, the most holy priest from the Jewish nation. If you don't know how to behave, what is worth? It's not worth anything. God is asking us here not only to believe in God, but also to behave in the right way. And this is exactly what I'm giving you here in this link. The opening, okay, the window, how to behave in the right way. I lost my case. That's it.
Quick question, Rabbi. Quick
Questions,
question.
yes, okay.
The link you put in the room, I went to it and it says we have to create an account. It's only for
just put your email and you inside.
Just put our email address and you're inside because it says logged in users only.
But put your email. You can't put your email. If you can't, I will open it more. I think you can put your email and you're inside. Please check this out. Check this out.
Anil says Akshab.
Can.
I copied the link and put it in my browser bar and it opened it.
Daniel, good to see you. I didn't saw you for 3 weeks. I missed you. Okay.
Hi, Rabbi.
Okay, questions about the
I
things
miss
that
you
we
too.
spoke today. Okay.
It
Questions,
says
Tony. Yeah.
doesn't work.
It's going inside. It's okay?
No. It says invalid username or password.
Okay, I will check.
Shagui.
I will fix it up. Okay, when we finish this meeting, I will fix it up. Keep this link. I will fix this up. Okay.
Okay. To that.
Everything was okay. I think that you see, done. I'm knocking people down. I'm speaking, and then people don't have any questions. That's it. Everything is clear.
No, Rabbi, you're doing great.
Okay,
It's
you
a
don't need to have any
beautiful class.
questions.
There was a question at the beginning in the chat. You were
Yes.
talking about days of creation, and then you were talking about the days of years in our lives. The question was, I thought Hashem's day is 1,000 years. But the days of creation, were they 6 24-hour days, or we don't know how long they were?
We don't know how long they were. We don't know. We don't
But
know how long they were.
When man came on to...
But it's true that the Ramban, one of the biggest sages that we have, is explaining that how long will be the seventh day. It will be the same timing of the sixth day of God, that each day of God is 1,000 days. So the seventh day will be 6,000 years. And this is what I said in the beginning, that it's being split for 3 versions. Version number 1 is the first 2,000 years. Second version is the second 2,000, from 2,000 to 4,000 years. And the last part is from 4,000 years to the 6,000 years. And we are at the end of almost the 5,000 years, almost the end of the years. I won't go inside to this. This is what the Ramban is explaining. But basically, we're speaking about the seventh day that we are still inside. We didn't finalize yet the holiness that we are supposed to be. The blessing and the holiness that we are supposed to be. We're almost there. We're not far. This group that is sitting here and also listening to us in the internet, and those who are coming with you, every morning in the last few weeks, and dealing with all of those things. The group that we have in the Czech Republic, and I can go around the world here now and to speak about those things. We are the beginning of the end of days for the full nations, so it's okay.
Beautiful.
Feel comfortable.
Amazing, Rabbi. That's
Okay.
beautiful stuff. Now, what Peshach had mentioned, I tried to log in on that site as well. I couldn't get in either, adding an email address. So if you could provide that, I think you got some people here very excited to look closer at that Brit Shalom, the Covenant of Peace. I want to thank you for sharing the endorsements from the chief rabbis. That's just wonderful. So have you got any final words before I log off? Or does anybody have any more
please,
questions for
Tony,
Rabbi?
Tony, can you hear me, Tony? No, okay.
Yeah, I hear
Now
you.
we can hear you.
I think I
You
had,
managed to log in, right?
Yeah, but I think I had an account from our class, from the classes you sent me. So, but I got right into it.
Again.
The classes that you
Again?
sent me to take, I think that's how I got in. I already have an account.
I understand. Okay, I will see exactly. I will fix this technical problem when we're finishing this lesson. I'll fix this technical problem. Okay, not a problem at all. And you will be able to go inside. Okay, so another 10 minutes, you will have the possibility of going inside.
So everybody stay connected.
Not a problem at all. And hopefully we're going to see next week. Next week, see you all. And have a blessing week. And very important, have a lot of healthy time. Be careful with yourself, not to spit on anybody and not to go around too much outside. And a lot of health.
All right.
Rabbi,
So I'm logging off online, folks. We'll catch you at the same time next week. We'll post it in advance. Till then, stay safe. Have a wonderful day.